More now on our breaking news. A desperate search is underway for two Australian brothers missing in Mexico. Jake and Callum Robinson vanished while on a surfing trip in the Baja California region. The brothers haven't been heard from since Saturday, with their mother issuing an urgent plea on Facebook.
Yeah, the boys' parents who live in Perth are scrambling to secure a last-minute flight to Mexico as police investigate their disappearance.
Here with the latest on this developing story is online editor David Johns. Johnsy, what do we know about the disappearance of Jake and Callum?
Yeah, look, it's quite a terrifying story. There's a couple of brothers, Callum and Jake. One of them lives in San Diego. The other one's gone over to visit. As part of that trip, they've gone down for a bit of a surfing trip down at the coast, and they've gone missing. So basically the last their family heard from them was Saturday. Local police have made 3 arrests, but concerningly not discovered the boys, I say boys, but they're teenagers as of yet. It looks like they found their tents. So they found 3 tents at a beach. There were reportedly some blood traces on the tents, and they've also found what they believe is their burnt out vehicle. So things are not looking good at the moment for the 2 brothers.
Yeah, and one of the people arrested had apparently one of the boys' phones in her possession. Allegedly, she also had some methamphetamine on her person, and 2 of the other people arrested also had drugs on their persons. It's hard to know what to make of any of this. What are the local Mexican authorities saying?
So the local district attorney actually came out and she spoke to some reporters there and confirmed that 3 people had been arrested. This district attorney, I was actually looking this up earlier on, she was elected last year on a platform of trying to find missing people more. As we know, it's a common problem in Mexico. And so it'll be really interesting how this plays out over the next few days.
Yeah, well, that's right. It's tens of thousands of Mexicans have been killed, and I was looking at a statistic, more than 26,000 have gone missing over a decade of drug-fueled violence in the country. Although violent attacks on foreign tourists aren't nearly as common, there was that case in 2015, which of course this has very eerie echoes of, the 2 Australian surfers, Adam Coleman and Dean Lucas, who were killed in the western Sinaloa state, which is, they had to pass through Baja Peninsula, where Callum and Jake were, and they did make 3 arrests in the case of that, and the authorities said that was a case of highway bandits, but it's very hard to get details and to get facts. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese said today that the Australian Embassy was on the case. What do we know about the Australian government's efforts?
Anthony Albanese said that, obviously he's very concerned like the rest of us. He said the embassy in Mexico is working with the local authorities and, they're doing everything they can to try and help support the family. The mother's obviously very distressed at this point in time, and I imagine the whole family would be.
Yeah, and we've actually received a statement from the family. What can you tell us about what they're going through at the moment? Because it must be just unimaginable stress and anxiety.
Yeah, look, it's hard to imagine, not being able to get in touch. One of the brothers is also diabetic, so there's an added health concern there. The mother put out a statement, the family put out a statement, I should say, last night, saying that they sincerely appreciated everybody's thoughts. They asked for privacy, but it sounds like today they're starting to make plans to head to Mexico to try and join in the search efforts.
Gosh, what a desperate mercy mission that would be. And now on Sunrise this morning, they had a former FBI agent, Phil Andrew, who spoke about the various scenarios that could be playing out here. And one of those scenarios could be a kidnapping situation, which is something that we know has happened in Mexico quite a bit over the past decade or so. Here's what Phil had to say, how something like that might unfold.
Well, it's going to be helpful to have people that have a nexus to this, including the 3 that have been arrested. But it might be helpful if there is some sort of attempt to make a demand. I think it's going to be very difficult for any kind of ransom situation to be successful with this much publicity on it. Because it's very difficult to do that. To have kind of a safe way of communicating for the kidnappers.
Yeah, it does sound like there's no easy way out of this situation, and the FBI are getting involved as well. The former FBI agent said that was something that's happening now. America is getting involved to assist the Australian government to try and get some answers. I actually travelled to Mexico years ago and experienced something like this firsthand when I was actually held up at machine gun point by police or people impersonating police and robbed. And that was in one of the safer areas, the very tourist-friendly areas of Mexico. So I guess it's always a risk in a country like that, but we just hope for a good outcome here. Online editor David Johns, thanks for joining us on The Nightly Five.
Thanks very much.